Hello, and welcome back to Talkin Yanks Book Hour. On today's episode, we will be reading an excerpt from Mickey Mantle's book, My Favorite Summer, 1956, written by Mickey Mantle and Phil Peepee. This story is all about Billy Martin's 29th birthday party.
That's when a bunch of us, Yogi, Bauer, Whitey, and Johnny Cucks, with our wives and Billy with his date, decided to have a big bash to celebrate Billy's birthday. It was a Sunday and there was no game the next day, so we planned a big night. We had dinner at Danny's Hideaway. Then we all went over to the Copacabana to see Sammy Davis Jr. When we got to the Copa, we were sitting next to a bunch of guys who were very loud and rowdy. Turned out to be a couple bowling teams out on the town, and they were making some remarks about Sammy Davis. Hank said something to them, asking them to please quiet down and let us enjoy the show. Soon there were words, and the next thing I knew, we were out in the hall and there was a scuffle.
One of their guys wound up on the floor. I thought it was Billy at first, so I picked his head up, and when I saw it wasn't Billy, I just dropped him back to the floor. This guy was lying under a chair, and he was all busted up. It looked like Roy Rogers had come rolling through there on his horse. Trigger had kicked the guy in the face. The bouncer at the Copa hustled us out of the place and through the kitchen and out onto the street, where we got cabs out of town. The bouncer was trying to protect us. He didn't want us to get in any trouble and have the incident get in the newspapers.
Sure enough, the next day when I picked up the newspaper, there was a big headline that said something like, Yankees in Copa fight. We all got called in by George Weiss, our general manager, and we wound up having to pay for the damage. We even got sued by the guys on the bowling team, and we had to go to court. I was really nervous. It was the first time I'd ever been to court, and still the only time. I got called on the witness stand, and the judge says to me, Mr. Mantle, are you chewing gum?
Yes, Your Honor, I am, I said. Well, get rid of it, he said. I looked around, and there was no place to put the gum. No trash can, nothing. So I took the gum out of my mouth and stuck it under the chair. We wound up winning the case, but we still had to pay for the damage to the Copa. Everybody figured it was Billy who slugged the guy who was lying on the floor. He had already picked up his reputation for fighting by then, but it wasn't Billy who hit the guy. I know it wasn't because I was with him the whole time, and I never saw him hit anybody. I don't know who hit the guy, but it wasn't Billy, and he still got the blame. The next day, I got to the ballpark, and there was Billy packing his stuff. Billy, I said, what are you doing?
I'm out of here, Mick, he said. Weiss is going to trade me. He never liked me. He's been waiting for an excuse to trade me, and now he's got it. Billy was right. Weiss was looking for an excuse to trade him. Weiss never liked Billy. He thought he was too brash, not the Yankee type, whatever that means. I always thought the Yankee type was a guy who was a winner. Billy certainly was that.
But Weiss didn't like Billy's fighting in his mouth, and he resented the fact that Billy was Casey's boy. Another reason, I think, was that Bobby Richardson was coming along, and I think Weiss figured he would be the team's second baseman for the next 10 years.
Bobby eventually took over second base and became one of the best in the game at his position. One of the solid men on that 1961 team that I still believe was the best team I ever played on. Weiss was looking for an excuse to give Bobby a chance to play and to get rid of Billy, and now, after the Copa incident, he had his excuse. It didn't happen right away like Billy thought it would. It happened a month later on June 15th, the trading deadline. We were in Kansas City, and Casey called Billy in and told him he was traded to the Athletics.
Weiss let it leak to the press that the reason Billy was traded was that he was a bad influence on me and Whitey. Bad influence? At the time Billy was traded, I was hitting over .400, and I had just had my Triple Crown year. Billy was with the Yankees 6 seasons, and in that time we won 6 pennants and 5 world championships. Do you call that a bad influence? As Billy used to like to say, Whitey and Mick both made the Hall of Fame, and I didn't. I wasn't a bad influence on them. They were a bad influence on me. The day Billy got traded was one of the blackest days of my career.
Billy was the only roommate I ever had on the road. I had 3 brothers, and they aren't any closer to me than Billy and Whitey are. When they traded Billy, they broke us up and it broke our hearts. That night, the three of us went out for one final blast together as Yankees. We drank an ocean of booze. By the end of the night, we were all crying. They had broken up our trio and we felt horrible.
Nobody felt worse than Billy. He loved the Yankees more than anybody I've ever known, right up until the day he died in that tragic automobile accident on Christmas night in 1989. The only thing he ever really wanted to be was a Yankee. That was a sad ending to a story about the time that Billy Martin and Mickey Mantle went to the Copa and beat up some bowlers. And Billy Martin definitely did not punch the guy he punched. Thank you for tuning in to the Talkin Yanks Book Hour. We'll see you next time.